Why does a failing school district need better marketing, advertising, PR? With Betsy DeVos as Secretary of Education, the competition for student enrollment between charters and public schools will escalate. Now more than ever, public schools will have to compete with better marketing. In July 2016, the Dayton Public School District released a request for proposal for comprehensive marketing services. The original award date was to be September 21st, 2016, but they failed to meet their own deadline. When the board did get around to voting on it, on November 1st, they complained the process favored big firms, the ones they'd already used for their bad logo, ineffective ad campaign, and their bad proprietary website. They went back to the drawing board and issued a request for qualifications, a different type of request. But when their evaluators with no marketing expertise scored it, they came back with the exact same choice, this time with clearly biased evaluations, biased by the fact that the one agency that cares the most about the district had started showcasing the failures of the organization to properly take care of district business. The school board voted to hire the Ohlmann Group for 1.5 man-years per year, despite being the highest bidder, $50,000 over the board's stated contract cap, and with an hourly rate of $139 an hour. The next wave bid was a fixed-price contract containing 3.5 man-years for less than the district's stated cap, making our effective hourly rate $41 an hour. We also were willing to do additional unspecified work at that rate. Ohlmann's submission was as boilerplate as it comes. Board evaluators tied them with our firm in diversity scoring, even though their diversity plan was just a subcontract. The next wave is a legitimate VA-certified service-disabled veteran-owned business and HubZone qualified. Even though our firm submitted the most comprehensive list of in-house equipment, we were given the lowest score in the category. In Ohlmann's submission, they admit they farmed their video production work out to the University of Dayton Media Production Group. The scoring team also said that photographer Larry Price's Pulitzer Prizes were not well documented, which is another way of saying that Dayton Public School evaluators can't pass a third-grade reading test. The purchasing department claimed they would forward the qualifications to the board 10 days before the vote for review of their work. Yet no board member had seen qualifications, a contract, or were told why Ohlmann was the right choice.
I want a clear answer that if it's marketing, if it's anything else, that I can sit down with that vendor and I can listen to the pitch. If I give you $300,000 a year, what are you going to do for that?
In theory, there's no prohibition of a conversation hearing the pitch. But that will not affect the buying process. So board members may sit down with a vendor or a group and listen to the pitch and say, I really like you. But if they score poorly on our pricing or on our buying rubric, that will not be what you see as a recommendation for expenditure of public funds.
This is a flat-out lie, Jillian. You're not buying cars here, but everybody knows you're buying services, and the board has the right to see what the proposal was. You can exclude the amounts of dollars. You can see what they are proposing, and you cannot say that this board does not have a right to see it.
In our RFQ, there's no prices.
Straight up lie.
RFQs, there's no prices. It's a request for qualification. Then once you pick the vendor, you cut. Yeah, there's no bid.
My apologies, David. I was referring to an RFP. This is an RFQ. Thank you for speaking up. I appreciate that.
Then when Ohlmann didn't do any work for 3 weeks into a contract awarded as an emergency, watch the board decide to do the administration's job and meet directly with the Ohlmann Group.
This is a hot ticket item.
You're right.
in full support of the virtual academy, and I had no clue that that's what this was talking about.
Those sessions were not well attended, and that is something that I personally feel that a lot of the public is not very well aware, despite our best efforts.
Has anybody from our new marketing consultant firm, Ohlmann Group, been in touch about how they could market this?
Interestingly, you bringing that up, because today Jill Drury asked me to stop by her office, and she said that she did meet with the Ohlmann Group, but they want to set up a meeting with a couple of the board members, to talk about, are we truly committed to working with them? So there's more to it than I know.
We're spending this kind of money on them for this trial run, and then they want to ask us if we're fully committed after we wrote a check. That is incredibly disappointing to hear, and that's incredibly frustrating. If we're paying money, we need to get the services. Plain and simple.
We did not cut them a check. The contract goes where we say, we go to them and tell them, we need you to put something together for this, and then they'll put together their billable hours and charge us for it.
If we are using them as we need them, then we need them now. And a professional marketing firm ought to know that we need them now.
That's 3 weeks that we've wasted of time. And so my feeling right now is I don't want to work with them.
Now Ohlmann doesn't report to just the superintendent or her cabinet, but to 2 new task forces made up of board members.
So perhaps this task force could have essentially 2 different compositions depending on the topic. So the very first one would be more of technology oriented, and it would have 3 different members. And then for the more strategic picture, that would include all kinds of marketing and PR and advertising, it would include then another set of board members.
We were there to film the first meeting. Watch and see. It's clear the Dayton Public Schools don't need a marketing firm. They've got the world's greatest creative director, Adil T. Bagirov.
I've came up with a couple of campaigns with some nice music and all this stuff flashing, whether it's using flash technology or whatever. And that means each campaign needs to have its own landing page.
Graduate with a college
Yes.
diploma, new CTE.
Yes.
Greater preschool seats,
Yeah.
8+ state report card.
This is just barely, we're scratching the surface here. How about we do an alumni summit? Let's do a campaign on
starting
that.
May.
Of course, this is not something that's relevant to the Ohlmann Group, but I'm really hoping that by next week we can have campaigns ready. What about all the PTAs in schools on Facebook and Google? We don't necessarily have to see a talking head constantly.
Because we didn't build this website.
We can have a special message, like a flash for a few seconds.
Nor do we have our access to the architecture, and it's in proprietary architecture.
Or it could be a
Student
small
of the athlete of the week,
scrolling
probably.
thing, and just like CNN has and everybody else
Or
has.
MSNBC.
There's some logistical things.
The way it is set up right now, the only person that has access to any kind of content on any page on the website
That's not what I'm saying.
is me.
I created all this in one night.